Hey, it's Craig from Eliquo Training here. We often get questions about mobile screen reader usage. So we put this introductory video together to give people an idea as to who is using mobile screen readers, how they're using it. It's a great 10-minute video. It's actually part of our full 1-day course on screen reader mobile testing. So if you're looking to learn about mobile screen reader usage, this is a great video for you.
All right, so let's jump into it. First things first is it's important to understand who your users are. And you might be assuming that, well, they're blind. And yeah, the majority of the users we're going to touch on here today are completely blind. But we do have some users that are using screen readers that are partially blind or deaf who have cognitive disabilities. Now, again, the majority of them are either partially blind or completely blind. But there are some users out there that are utilizing screen readers for cognitive disabilities to digest the information via hearing the content instead of reading the content. And of course, we have a ridiculous amount of shortcut keys that become available to us as screen reader users when the screen reader is on. So that's another reason why some other users might be using screen readers. My point is, you need to understand that not everyone that's using a screen reader is completely blind. Now, on desktop, the primary screen readers are JAWS, NVDA, and VoiceOver. VoiceOver for the iPhone and VoiceOver for the Mac don't share the exact same backend. So that's something that I do want you to understand. Now, if you do connect a wireless Bluetooth keyboard to your iPad or your iPhone, the majority of the shortcuts that you know and love on Mac will be the same as on your iPhone and iPad. Now, the engine running the screen reader behind the scenes isn't exactly the same. So the behavior might be slightly different. Just keep that in mind. Should be pretty similar, but again, you might notice some slight variance between the two. Now, even though you might be saying, well, if I take a look, VoiceOver only owns 10% of market share, right? Um, on desktop, that might be true. But on mobile, it dominates the ecosystem. Now, one of the things that you also want to make sure that you don't do is worry about teaching the users how to use a screen reader. That's not your job. Your job is to make sure that for the users who know how to use a screen reader, they have a good user experience on mobile, of course, and desktop. One of the things that is a misconception is a lot of people think, well, blind users can't use touchscreens. They're blind. You couldn't be more wrong, right? It is just like the rest of us, our primary device that we use on a day-to-day basis. Over 91% of screen reader users are also mobile screen reader users, and it is their primary device for them to digest information. So you definitely want to be doing proper testing to make sure that your web application, your website is built in a way that the users using mobile screen readers can complete the task you're asking them to complete. They can digest the information you're asking them to digest. They can have a similar, not identical, but similar experience as everybody else. iOS does dominate the mobile ecosystem. The iPhone is pre-installed with VoiceOver. iPad is pre-installed with VoiceOver. If you have an iPod Touch, it's pre-installed with VoiceOver. Android does not have TalkBack pre-installed for every single Android device that gets shipped out. That's one of the major difference, and probably why the iPhone, the iPad, the iPod Touch dominates here compared to Android's TalkBack. So do I have the exact same power? VoiceOver, TalkBack, which one's better? It's subjective. Just like, is iOS better than Android? Is Android better than iOS? It really depends on your preference. They are both very capable screen readers, TalkBack, VoiceOver. Do I have my preference? Yes, I do. But I'm on the Apple ecosystem, so obviously it's easy for me to get comfortable with VoiceOver on my iPhone, my iPad, because I'm comfortable with it on the Mac as well. Versus there is no TalkBack screen reader for Windows operating system or for the Mac operating system. So again, there's a bit of a learning curve there. Now, no matter what, you will have a learning curve and you will not become an expert at using a screen reader after one day. That's just not how it works. It takes time. The more you practice with it, the better and more comfortable you'll be controlling it. Today, we're going to make you practice navigating with your screen readers using all the different ways. I was going to say shortcut keys, but it's not really shortcut keys, right? It's a lot of gestures and setting of your gestures, as you're going to see a little bit later. Now, this is something that has changed throughout the years. Mobile application that you would download on the App Store or Google Play versus websites that we visit online. When I started teaching this course, it was actually closer to the opposite. Okay, the majority of users preferred navigating websites over mobile apps because they were more accessible. But that's changed. We now see that 58% prefer using native application versus going on a browser for the same task they have at hand, right? And I think that's true for most users nowadays. But because of accessibility, it took a little bit longer for native applications to be built in an accessible way. And there's still some applications out there that are significantly inaccessible to screen reader users. We're going to take a look at one of them here today. But my point is, you can't just test your website and say it's accessible and be okay with it and then release a completely inaccessible mobile app because people are preferring the mobile apps over the web applications. Honestly, both of them should be built in an accessible way nowadays. You also want to put yourself in the user's shoes as close as possible, meaning I want to find content. How do I go about finding content? Well, the number one way a visually impaired user using a screen reader to navigate your document is through headings. Headings, headings, headings. It is by far the most popular way for users to navigate your documents, your web applications. And nowadays, in Swift, which is the iOS platform to build native applications, you have headings available to you. Use them. That's right. They're shortcut keys, okay, which is a little different again on iOS. You're going to notice there's the rotor settings. It's so important to understand the rotor settings. We're going to look at it, don't worry. But the rotor settings can be set to headings, and then you navigate via headings even on your mobile platform. So make sure that your heading structure is built properly and put yourself in your shoes when you're testing and navigate via headings. We're going to take a look at how to do that here today. Number 2 is the Control F feature, which is not the same on mobile. Okay, that's a little bit more difficult to do. Still possible, but less likely for the users to do this. Reading through the page item by item, this is more common on mobile than it is on desktop because of the way the gestures are built. Navigating via links is another one. Oh, you're like, oh, that's the tab key on desktop? No, that's not the tab key. There is a shortcut key to navigate via links on desktop, like there is a way to navigate via links on mobile as well. Then we have regions, which are landmarks, HTML5 tags, sectional tags, however you want to call them. They're the nav, header, main, footer of your website. Okay. But again, the number one way will be through headings. So make sure that when you're testing with the screen reader, you do the same. Now, the problem areas that most screen reader users encounter on a day-to-day basis. Number one is CAPTCHAs. If you can find a way around using CAPTCHAs, do it. If you can use invisible CAPTCHAs instead, do it, because it is definitely the most problematic things that people get frustrated with when using a screen reader. Anything that's interactive that is not built properly, like menus, tabs, modals, also known as dialogues, okay? Links or buttons that are not clear what they do. Screens or parts of the screens that change unexpectedly. Lack of keyboard accessibility, image missing alternate text, complex, difficult forms, missing or improper headings, too many links on the page, complex data tables, inaccessible and missing search functionality, and lack of bypass blocks. Those are the 12 most common concerns screen reader users have. All this information is to help you put yourself in the user's shoes